Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2 with the new world champion. In the blue, it's Team Liquid's Clem. But up against the only player who's even been close to keeping up with him lately, the Italian Stallion. It's Reynor. Again, a best of 5 Terran versus Zerg showdown. The highest level of StarCraft 2. The fastest players. And the best chance for me to beg you for likes and maybe even subscribes. And Jimmy, what are we at? 1,419 likes on this video, on this cast. I'll cast another one, and I'll probably do it anyways. But thank you for watching. Hopefully you've had a good day so far, and hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better. Oh, so Clem is doing the SCV Reaper play. I have to assume that's what this is, because Reynor throws out the XD and lame afterwards. And I will tell you, physically, not a huge deal. But emotionally, dealing with the SCV, which can block your third, which covers for the Reaper follow-up early on, any sort of attempt to sneak a drone out is already preemptively shut down. So unless there is some other beef between them, I have to assume it's related to the in-game play. And apparently, they're just allowed to trash talk each other early on, at least a little bit. And why not? And this is the playoffs of the, I'm going to butcher the pronunciation, I'm sorry preemptively to my Bulgarian fans, the Bellum Gens Elite Stara Zagora, a $10,000 or more tournament that honestly I had no idea was happening until the weekend of, but super exciting to see. And they had a really cool venue for it as well, like an amphitheater in Bulgaria, and these players playing in person. So no, this isn't the World Cup, the Team League, another tournament that these two make it to the playoffs of, because of course they did. Now the Queens escorting the... Don't talk to me or my drones ever again. Okay, Brenda. The Reaper still. And is able to get the hatch just barely in time. So Reynor will get his third base just after 3, but it's not a massive delay. But now the Queen's slightly out of position to deal with the Reaper. Pushed away and forced to jump out. But the Zerglings on the backside. And also, I believe that's why one of the players is in green here instead of your normal red and blue. I don't know if I love it, but it is something a little bit different. I believe that's the kind of the brand color of the tournament. Honestly, I really like the green Zerg. It's just kind of weird with the maybe green and red. That'd be too much Christmas colors. Anyways, how about phthalo blue? Liquid white. Moving on as fast as possible, just like Clem, as he bounces a queen out of the way, but he caught a glimpse of the Zerglings that Reynor preemptively made to prevent exactly that from happening. That run by there, and it gets shut down before it starts. Well, it doesn't get shut down, it just kind of gets put on pause like a Windows update. Clem following it up, a Liberator on the way, the Queens holding the high ground for now. And Clem just going to have to work around the edges. Reynor. Clem is so intensely good at keeping the pressure on Zergs. This is why he was able to so decisively beat Cyril, yet have less success against Reynor lately. They've gone almost 50-50 in games. But usually that break point has been going towards Clem. Because Reynor is fast enough to keep up and even get ahead of Clem. And Zerg units are just simply not as good as Terran ones in many scenarios, though we have Queens here. So, I think Cyril is just simply not at the level to keep up with Clem's speed. Whereas Reynor here brings his Queens up, gonna lose one of them. He targets a drone knowing he won't kill another Queen, but deals with that early Liberator. The Liberator, the cheapest choice in both emotionally and physically. Ooh, and the Hellions get surrounded and clawed to pieces. The Queen's able to take him down, and quite a misstep there out of Clem. Throwing away what could have been maybe part of a larger push, or he got greedy trying to get an opportunity to kill those extra drones, but ends up finding nothing of the sort. More. How many barracks? We got 4 barracks, 5 barracks now completed, and a third base has landed. Reynor is just now getting his lair at the 6-minute mark, which is not the latest we've ever seen, but at the same time, certainly not speedrunning it. And that means there won't be any speedrunning of Banelings or Hydras, and really anything but Zerglings. But the creep spread is already being pushed out about halfway across the map, maybe a little less. And of course, Clem going to take issue with that. The first medevacs are out, which gives Clem the opportunity to push forward with the Marines. And the Zerglings looking for the surround, and with the sheer amount of queens and lings, we'll be able to drive this back and replace the creep immediately. Clem not missing a beat back at home and gunning down so many of these Zerglings, but he doesn't have the upgrade advantage you really need to stand your ground against the lings. Until he gets combat shield and the 1-1, which is not too far off, especially the upgrades, he's not going to have much opportunity to cut through. He's just going to have to work around the edges. Reynor not too far behind. He's got his infestation bit. Like the moment the lair finished, that moment he slapped down the infestation bit. I think this is an Ultralisk rush, or at least an Adrenal Hive and Viper rush. And without that combat shield, the Zerglings are enough. And Reynor, he's expanding across the edges with the creep. There's a single Widow Mine. Gets a big hit. Starts things off. Armory's not done yet for Clem, and you still need the Drilling Claws upgrade in order to deal with it. Carapace level 1 finishes, and those queens going to be able to tank the damage. They can take a pounding when they need to. Citation redacted. Hive is on the way. Baneling Nest, upgrading speed. It's nearly completed. A few Banelings waddling in. Those green Banelings. I mean, greener. The Widowmine's dotting the field. Clem, against the massive Zergling, the siege tank's less reliable. The Widowmine's almost guaranteed to get a decent hit off when everything you're fighting is melee units. So that's what he's relying on here. As he sharks around the edge of the creep, Widowmines hits some of the Banes, hits one of the Queens, clears up some more of the creep. There's only 3 orbitals, so he has to be a bit stingy with the scans. And there's so many creep tumors, it's physically difficult for Clem to actually get the damage. Easily dodges out one of the mines, and Reynor, his hive is nearly done. And Clem has yet to do critical damage with the medevacs. In fact, he's barely treading water. He's gonna take out one of the hatcheries to the north. In fact, there's no cancel there at the end of the day. Another hatchery being targeted by the Marines, and it's starting to spiral. Another hatch down. Reynor knocked back down to 4, as a 4th command center is already done for Clem, and he takes a supply lead. But Hive Tech is online. If Reynor is able to survive until the Ultralisks, until the Adrenal Glands, until the 2-2 upgrades, which are several minutes out, well, Clem, if he doesn't have Ghosts, or even a decent amount of Marauders or Liberators, could get run over. But as Reynor invests in all these things, he's less able to invest in the Lings and Banes, which makes it harder and harder to deal with this critical mass of Marines and Mines. And since he doesn't have Hydras, he doesn't really have any ranged units besides the Queens, which, we're being generous here. The Widow Mines are becoming more and more of a threat, especially with those medevacs. But he draws some of the mine shots out, hitting the medevacs themselves. Another clutch of Zerglings. Oh no! And he's going for the evolution chamber. He's going to take it out. I don't know if the Baneling's connected in the middle of the map, but the supply says not enough. Another Queen going to get hit. Drilling Claws is done, which means detection is required to clear up those Widow Mines. 10 SCVs dead, though, as, oh my, back at home, the Zerglings have cleared out the 3rd base. Meanwhile, attacking in the center of the map, the medevacs are picked up. Another drop is jammed into the corner. And these two at full throttle in game 1. Clem slipping a bit out on the map. He's vulnerable to the counterattacks, but he's building up the momentum. The Ultras, though, could stop it in their tracks. Losing that +2 Carapace upgrade is a major blow, especially considering the Ultras rely on that kind of unstoppable nature. Especially against the ghostless Terran. The upgrades are such a huge deal at this time. Concussive shells on the way. I don't know if he spotted the Ultra Caver, but either way, Marauders getting added into the composition. The Zerglings easily getting gunned down by the well-upgraded Marines, and he started the 3-3 already. Counterattack is swept away, and the creep is next on the agenda, as Clem has a medevacs for all policy. The Frenchman looking good so far. And easily splitting. A textbook play. Ultras on the way. 2 Ultras are not nearly enough, especially without chitinous plating. The Banelings. Oh, close enough. But the Widow Mines do terrible, terrible damage to everyone. Medevacs knocked out of the sky by the mines. Zerglings in the mineral line. And the Medevacs are forced back home. Gonna drop out some more of the Marines. But Reynor has drawn the supplies even. But there is an expiration date. Or at least, like fax machines, Ultras are very good if there are no other options. But eventually, a weird comparison, but eventually, as more Liberators and Marauders are added onto the field, still no Ghosts, as Clem wants to maintain this momentum of the M&M sort of composition, because that'll give him a good shot in order to just win the game with a tempo advantage. But will he capture it or let it slip? And now he's got a Ghost Academy on the way. He's not just letting Reynor potentially build up that Ultralist momentum and barrel over him, but instead assassinating more of the Queens. A revolutionary idea from the Frenchman, and the Widow Mines will connect, knocks out some of the Marines with it, but more Zerglings getting... +3/+3 is closing in for Clem, and that's another key breakpoint that's going to be harder and harder to deal with. But the Ultras are cleaving through, slicing the Bio Army in twain, and shrugging off the Widow Mine hits and clearing them up. But the Liberators are unchallenged. There's no anti-air at all. The Queen count is at 7. No, you can't come back. There's a few Marauders underneath. He has to run Zerglings through, but these Liberators are getting so much done. 15 kills. Yes, mostly Zerglings, but the Liberators are racking up the damage. And the technicality here is not there for Reynor. He doesn't have Hydras. He doesn't have Corruptors. And actually, now that I list them out like that, there's a remarkably low amount of units that have basic anti-air attacks for Zerg. It's Queens, Hydras, and Corruptors, and Mutas. And that's it. Technically, you have Vipers as well with Parasitic Bomb. You have Ultras, which should just kill any base that won't fly away like a planetary fortress. But Reynor is getting cut down economically. Clem is still on 4 bases. Reynor technically has 5, but he has to hold on to this hatchery over to the right side. Ultras knocking at the gates. 1 in the mineral line. More Ultras on the way, and no Ghosts on the field. No easy way to deal with it. The Ultras just cleaving through the reinforcements as Clem losing track of things now. Reynor trying to hold on. The Medevacs are entirely out of energy. There may be a dream for the single Ultra. The hero-less doing so much damage. The Queen's drawing out the Widow Mine hits, but the Marauder count is still so damn high. 26 SCVs dead at home. The Marauders are forced to be picked up with no energy left, but look at the supply. The minefield has not been cleared. More Ultras will be hunted down almost to extinction. And now Reynor is relying on desperate Zergling counterattacks. He was a day late and an Ultra short. A Liberator with 13 kills. And I'm not sure it's a coincidence 13 drones have died in the last minute. Between the Liberators and the mines, or not really between, but amongst. The factory's burning, but Clem has consolidated his position. There's no way the Zerglings are getting in. And there just isn't the anti-air. He drops the mules. Oh my, the mule canyons there. I'm still adjusting to the awesome colors they're using. Investors on the way. He doesn't have Burrow, but at this stage, a Dream Fungal. The Widow Mines. The Widow Mine count is so damn high. 20 mines! Wow. As the Zerglings try to thread the needle. Or the minefield. Not really a needle. But the Liberator's sieging up, and there's a Spire on the way. He's been inspired indeed, but there's just some Marauders kind of left out. I think there's a Widow Mine under them, though. Yeah. Lurking. Clem is now maxed out. And there's no reason to sit back any longer. He's got plenty of bases, plenty of workers. He's got a supply lead. And this time around, I don't think Reynor is going to be able to evade the army well enough. Another... Whoa, no, my God, from downtown. Oh. And another... The mines land. The fungals queuing through. And the ultras will actually take this. He takes out a couple of the medevacs as well, but the minefield still needs to be cleared up. The drones, he's desperate. He keeps fighting delaying actions, but the mines are adding up the damage. The ultras can shrug them off, but at what cost? Eventually, they do enough. We now have ghosts on the way. Reynor finally adding in corruptors, but it's too late. The ghosts are already on the field. The damage has been done. The creep spread is gone. He needs metaphorical boots on the ground, and he simply doesn't have them. Clem. Just isolating this base. The Liberators as well. Yeah, the Corruptors are here, but there's well-upgraded bio. If he could get a few of those Widow Mines to turn against the Terrans, maybe, but... Reynor has the highest supply he's ever gonna get. And here we are. EMPs land. Ghost dies, but the damage has been done. Another fungal. Kiting in. And even though he's able to push through here, Clem is not giving him enough of a target. Even though he's gonna clear this, at least for now, there's always another army. And these small to medium, like 10 to 30 supply armies from Terran, are just, when microed to this extent, so incredibly hard to deal with. Reynor agrees. Game 1 goes to the reigning world champion. Clem takes it. Off to an early lead. They were neck and neck there for the majority of the game, or at least the first 10 minutes or so. But Reynor, he tried that Mass Ling Bane into Ultra, which has its clear weaknesses. You don't have the anti-air. I think Clem recognized it just a little too early, and Reynor wasn't able to get enough momentum going in order to carry through to victory. If Reynor had another 30 seconds in order to put that army together, but he didn't. All right. We're not here for hypotheticals. Is that a pool first? Reynor here on Amphion for game 2. Spawning pool on the way. And there's gas too. He's not just gonna go wing speed. I don't know. There's a array of options here. Likely Ling speed. But what is the objective of those options is the question. Because when you cut your economy like this, and this does cut your economy quite significantly. Also, I think Clem giving some respect by SCV scouting multiple games. Or maybe just wanting to make it difficult to take a third base. That might be more accurate. But, you know, porque no los dos? Zergling speed on the way. He's still got 2 in gas, though. Baneling? We're going to find out momentarily. The SCV will be pushed away. He'll realize this is indeed a bull verse. You can see the hatchery timing. The Reaper actually will commit in, which is a bit of a risky business. But he knows his timings, I'm sure, to the second. As the Queen comes down. Why do you have all this gas? I think Reynor doesn't want to show, or potentially show, what tech he's going for. But Clem's going to click on the gas. He's going to see how much has been mined. And that leaves a lot of options open. The thing is, he doesn't know which of those options it is. And Clem, hubris, greed, or maybe a calculated risk. Third command center on the way, despite knowing that Reynor is going for very likely an all-in. Now, sometimes just having the third command center is better than going all out on defense, because even if you lose some SCVs, you can recover so quickly. And Zergling speed was committed to and does kick in, and the Reaper will be caught and killed before I can make it home. And this has to be a Nidus. Unless... Nope. I take it... No, stop that. Mutas. Like and subscribe, and I'll never make that noise again. Never mind, I can't commit to that. So, Reynor has had some success with mutas recently, against Clem specifically. Because if you don't deal with the medevacs, if you don't deal with liberators, eventually he'll grind you down. That we saw that last game. It was about an even money situation until Clem really started rolling with the medevac. A Queen Dropper Lord. But it doesn't even have... Well, it moves slightly faster. Is this to... What was that? Was he faking it? Is he faking a Queen drop? Because he built that, I think, under the vision of the Hellion. So... There's already Stim on the way. Reynor is certainly a scan. Well, the lair is spotted. The spire is not. The fact that Clem scanned it all means he's clearly not confident. Spore Crawler on the way. Armory as well. Interesting. But the lair doesn't really give much away here. The double gas maybe gives a little more. I'm sure he suspects the mute. Well, I'm not sure he suspects the mutas. Because where's the engineering bay, Clem? I would imagine that someone who has at least some suspicions that's mass mutalisk would go for... There it is. But it's already too late. By the time the engineering bays are done, the mutas will be out, I think, before any turrets can be built. Or at least completed, to be clear. Though, likely he'll target the first two medevacs. And this, the key part, will be undercutting any sort of medevac play, getting momentum that way. He needs to either shut down the medevacs immediately or get critical economic damage. Both would be great. The mutas are committed to the main. There is no turret. I don't know what he thought it was, but clearly he was not prepared for the mutalisks. The main base is being ransacked, but does Reynor have even remotely enough to defend? The Hellbats added in with it. Oh, no. Oh, it's a devastating attack for both sides. The mutas are gutting the entire economy, but Clem is tearing through everything else. There's not going to be anywhere close to enough anti-air to deal with the mutas. But is there enough anti-ground? The thing is, the mutas can come back eventually. He's running away with the drones. The Marines have finite HP. He's trying to get another missile turret. Wow. A Viking? There's a couple Widow mines in the mineral line. I don't know if he noticed them. The Zerglings are overrunning. The main base will fall for Reynor. Clem is going to be knocked down below the SCV count he started with. But Reynor's not doing so hot himself. He's still got the Spire and is incrementing out Mutas. And we go back to the Dark Age. And we'll see if anybody can retake Feudal. We'll have to see. I don't even think there's a Queen out there, though, so... We'll have to rely on the Overlords. The Hellbats are problematic, but there might be enough Mutas to actually just win the fight. There's no more. There's no upgrades. He didn't actually kill the lair. It's not going to get any better. He's got to go eventually. He's going to try to isolate some of the Marines. He does so. He's just going to fight. Micros the mutas away. That's not enough Marines. I think Reynor's got it. And does Clem have anything? He's gonna spot this base. I think this is the first time he's seeing it. Or at least how much is there. Clem is down to 8 SCVs. Which means with mules, he's on an even economy. The Widow Mine's out on the field. Oh, barely gets away. All the Widow Mines are committed. The orbital commands will lift, but that won't save you from the mutas. The mutas chasing down individual medevacs. He still has a lair. He can get detection. Gonna try to go through the depot, and we're gonna do it again. We're gonna do it again. Except this time, another round, and actually, well, Reynor's gonna be supply block, losing 2 overlords here. 70 over 60 supply. The Widow Mines are spread out, but they're just as dangerous to the Terrans as the Zerg. And a surprising standoff as diplomatic talks are open. Nope. And the Zerglings trying to reposition. Oh, he slams him into the Terran, and he falls on his own grenade. The Widow Mines are enough for Reynor to help break through the Marines. He hunts down one medevac. Another medevac with a few Marines did escape temporarily, but Reynor will be able to find it and kill it. The Marines almost get one of the mutas. Reynor lost enough supply, and he built a couple more OVs. He's on supply block. Clem? The thing is, Reynor doesn't have quite the critical mass. He doesn't quite have enough mutas in order to just close this out. There's still the threat that the Marine count is high enough to fight the mutas. And if Reynor loses one fight, oh, there's a Widow Mine next to that turret. Individual SCVs are so precious. And mutas even more so. Is there anything in the main? I'm sure his eyes are glued, looking for that indicator. More SCVs dead. There's a non-zero chance this game evens out and it goes another 30 minutes, as they both slowly claw their way back to having some semblance of an economy. Oh no, the counterattack. A single drop, a huge commitment at this stage. Tries to target down a muta, saves the muta with transfuse. And gonna try to chase down the medevac. It will run out of boost. And will he be able to unload? Yes. Another muta being targeted. Individual muta micro. The medevac, he drops out the Marines again, but gets shot down. But Clem is dragging himself back into it here. The Baneling nest has to be rebuilt. I believe he lost it before. Or maybe never had it. Either way. The Marines are on the edge of the creep. The mutas are headed in towards the main again. There's only one Widow Mine on the field. Single Marine. Run, Billy! Some supply depots. Reynor scrambling back with the mutas. He turns tail and wings back towards the main. And it's just, there are no upgrades for either side. They're both working on one now, at the 11-minute mark. But oh my. The Marines, he gets the Spire. How many mutas? 13 will be the final number for now. And the Queens are fighting, trying to tank as much. He's gonna fight outright. The muta's fighting the Marines. He can't just snipe the medevacs. It's not gonna work. The Zergling's overrunning on the ground. He might have enough. And he does. The difference between Marines with no upgrades. GG! Reynor holds it together by the skin of his remarkably lightweight muta teeth. And ties up the series again. The muta's just barely enough. God. So many tiny fights that could have decided the entire match for like 8 minutes straight. These two are so ridiculously evenly matched. It appears that neither player has found a decisive strategy against the other. They've played like 3 or 4 times over the last month and a half. In high prof... What the hell is this? No more filler commentary for boring casters. Reynor is doing a proxy hatch in his face. His face! Which is the rudest option, but also the most effective. I don't know. It has to be Ravagers, right? He's not going to do, like, Spine Crawlers. And no SCV Scout with the double Reaper. The Overlord's there. Oh, my. Oh, I have no idea. I've never seen something this committed. The drones! Oh, my God. Wait, no, those are just going to mine. He's not building a Spine Crawler, right? Roachhorn's on the way. Clem. Okay, I wish I saw Clem's face at this point. Bunker. Give me the spines. I mean, he's got the Roachhorn halfway done. I don't know. Double Rags Reaper feels like it might have enough. He's putting the bunkers on the outside because he doesn't want the wall in to be used against him. That rich Vespian gas so valuable, but the Reapers... there's no better Reaper micro player in the world, so... And the Zerglings. Just to buy time. The Queen comes out. Brenda bounce. But bounces forward. Might be able to... Oh! Oh, but the bunkers. Oh my. Well, he gets one. Okay, the drone's on the run. There's not even really enough money to do the hiding in Spore Crawler trick. But Clem does not want to get caught by the roaches that he knows are building there. Command center on the way. So now we see Clem is well prepared. And there is no follow-up here for Reynor. No, no, no. All right, he's put a ring on this push. He's committed. Well, the roaches getting cut off here. Do 2 Reapers beat a roach? Not if they shoot themselves in the foot with a grenade. I don't think. SCV's pre-pulled. He's trying to cut off the reinforcements with the Reapers, but I think the defense... There's a Cyclone on the way. Here we go. Reaper's working on the drones. Actually just getting the extractor right now. The SCV's bunker falls easily. Kind of surprising it went so quickly. The SCVs try to dodge away. Another Ravager. This is starting to look quite dangerous. And here comes the Cyclone. The Marines pulled out. The SCVs are all dead. That's not that important right now. What's important is whether or not he can break the critical mass of Ravagers. Gets the Queen. But Clem, I think, underestimated both the commitment and the effectiveness of these Roaches and Ravagers. And on the one of the most difficult maps that Zerg can play against Terran, Reynor may have actually just undercut Clem completely. The supply is not good. He can't afford to lose many more SCVs. He may lose the barracks as well. Down goes one. More Cyclones. And he's playing it safe. There's not that much damage on Clem's side. Down goes another Marauder. Corrosive about beautiful micro. It's not enough. He got the Cyclones. He got the SCVs. He got the Marauders. He got the game. Reynor, 2-1. All right, well. Reynor with the full commitment, and it pays off. He's now on match point. Clem was pretty confident those bunkers were enough, but Ravagers do a dangerous amount of damage early. With that corrosive bile forcing the SCVs away, I think he expected Reynor to be intimidated by the existence of the bunkers, as opposed to actually trying to break them. Multiple bunkers, big commitment. But here we go, game 4, and Clem needs 2. Not that I don't think he's capable of it, as Reynor has pulled a well-articulated and incredibly sharp cheese. And yes, it is a cheese. There's a difference between a cheese and an all-in, though the Venn diagram covers both. a cheese is a strategy that becomes significantly more effective. I'm going to say over 50% if it goes unscouted for as long as possible. And becomes significantly more effective if it goes unscouted until it's already come to fruition, fermented entirely. And all in doesn't necessarily have to be a cheese. For example, 3 Rax Reaper. Just because you know the 3 Rax Reaper is coming. Well, maybe a proxy is less effective, but for Terran, that 3 Rax Reaper play, even if you know it's coming, there's no, this is the counter. Like, if Clem had seen that hatchery, he could have built a bunker next to it before it finished. And already been building maybe Marines instead of Reapers, which are not going to be as effective against a Roach Home. But if he has a bunker, and he shuts down the hatch, cheese, all right, lactose intolerant. But, same with the Mutas. If he knows for sure it's the Mutas, I guarantee you he has more than 0 turrets. So good, solid, and well-executed cheeses, but cheeses nonetheless for Reynor. And the longer a series is, the harder it is to rely on. I don't blame Reynor for doing so, though. Embracing that dark school of controlled chaos that he's been using to great effect against even players like Clem in order to get the edge. In game 1, Reynor hung with him, but clearly Clem in a macro game is like, it almost feels like statistically improbable to even compete with the efficiency he's able to bring to the table. So, what I'm trying to say is I'm not particularly surprised to see 7 roaches in the production tab. As Reynor brings out the roaches again. This time, a much higher economy, obviously. Well, not much higher. He's going to have a lot more time in order to set up his defenses. Now, he is on the awkward side of the map. Is there an Overlord nearby? If he does want to bring it in, he can bring the Overlord with the Ravagers. There's an armory on the way already, really focusing on the Hellbats early. Roach Ravager. And, well, surprise. It's a bunch of roaches. Ah, yes, a surprise indeed. Well, here come the Ravagers. A bit late to the party. The penalty is death. Yeah, Ravagers on their own. Might be enough to get him to turn around for now. And again, you gotta be careful, Clem. Ravagers are surprisingly tanky creatures. A wave of Hellbats is on the way. He knocks out the reactor, which will delay the Cyclones. The Hellbat's existing and all. I'm not even sure if Hellbat mode is better here. This makes him easier to target down. Though, of course, he's juggling it into the medevacs. Because why wouldn't he? Technically, you can dodge all of the projectiles. Simply just don't get hit. And if you get hit, that's a skill issue. Dropping the Hellbats on top. Chasing with the Cyclone. Burns through another Ravager. Locks onto a second. Oh, no. Reynor has droned hard behind this. And he's built a lot. Wow, he built a lot of Overlords. 55 over 100. And he has exactly 0 units that aren't Queens and drones. Which is not very many. So, this has been defended. Clem is in a, if not entirely comfortable, at least a commanding position. There is still the threat of a follow-up all-in. And, of course, it's hard to gauge exactly how greedy your opponent was. Though the fact he saw the hatchery finishing gives some of it away. He knows, oh no, the queens. Oh, Brenda, run! They can fly, unlike us, Susan. Why can't we fly? We don't talk about that since the war, Susan. Cyclones hunting down the queen. Well, Cloak is not done. If he's able to take, he knocks out the medevac. Clem. Quite a sloppy exchange. Unfortunately, when the Banshee Cloak finishes, if he has 2 Banshees here, he's going to be able to ransack the mineral line. just as Reynor found his footing again, he's gonna sweep him out from under. Oh no, it's bad. This is a disaster. There were no spores. He's taking out more queens. It's bad. He's gonna get a couple more. He gets one of the banshees. That's something. But the momentum is... Any sort of resurgence that Reynor was enjoying there has been stopped in its tracks entirely and completely shifted back towards Clem. As even though Reynor will have a comparable drone count, he doesn't have any upgrades. His lair is ridiculously late. Clem's gonna have 1-1. He's already got, I believe, Stim. Yeah, Stim, no combat shield yet, but his infrastructure is third base. Reynor's thoughts and prayers here. And a bunch of Ravagers and Lings, because that's the only chance. He may have the supply, but that is off the back of this all-in. So if Clem is caught out, there's a chance that Reynor's able to do enough damage to turn this back around. But it's a slim one. Yeah, while there are no medevacs yet, that's about to change. There's a single siege tank on the ramp. Those medevacs are going to come out at the absolute perfect timing. The moment this hits, those medevacs will be joining the fray. And Clem, keeping him busy on the other side. Well, if it had hit as he got here, but it's time to go. And here we go. The Ravager count's so damn high. And there is that. He doesn't have vision of the siege tank. He has to get to the high ground. He's getting so many hits. And Clem, driven back for now. Another siege tank trapped in a prison of its own design. More corrosive balls. SCVs pulled from the third. Reynor hitting this desperate timing as hard as possible. A split he's 1 second away from canceling combat shield. He didn't notice it in time. Oh, it was so close, but the Banshees come back. And the fun is starting to end here. 1-1 is now done. The Banshee is adding on the damage. The corrosive biles are knocking out SCVs, but right now Clem plummets to a 20 SCV lead. As Reynor's forces are jammed up on the front line. There's so many barracks in the way. He tries to hit the Banshee with corrosive bile. The siege tank is saved by the medevac. The Marine count has grown too damn high. The upgrades are there. The supply is there. The G and G are there. And that means we're going to game number 5. Ugh. Reynor trying again to find that timing. And honestly, closer than I expected on both of them. Those Ravagers must be respected. But Clem showing them their respect and working around them to get the economic damage done. And again, between, oh my god, what in the, that's not a, what, well, this shows you what Reynor feels about well, huh. Huh. Well, it's certainly going to be a surprise for Clem. I will say that. I was really struggling. My entire job is to put some words over the top of these players who are an order of magnitude better than me. But I am lost for them. All right? My flabbers are gasted. Okay? And this is certainly an original way. And it very well could work. The SCV scout comes through, and that means Clem will get a moment extra of warning. We're going to the Clem cam here as he looks for the third. All right, nothing there. And he looks for the other third. And oh my. Well, well, well. What have we here? Yet another proxy hatch from Reynor. Roachhorn's on the way. Multiple bunkers. This time he's building a bunker on the high ground. That's a huge difference. Already an adaptation from Crimson Court. And the thing is, this is... You don't have the rich Vespene to work off. You can't kind of boost this into being an effective strategy. And he's not against Ravagers. I don't know. I'm not optimistic. But that will make it all the more dramatic when Reynor turns it around. All right, single roach, scampering up. Here come the Ravagers. Round 2 or 3, I don't know, round 5. He's gonna start working his way through that cyclone coming out so early on. Another bunker. Oh my, he's taking it so seriously. Why so serious, Mr. Reynor? Because I don't want to play past the early game against your medevacs. It's like, don't say that out loud. The Roach Ravager, the SCV's pre-pulled. Another SCV taking the wrong path. Blood has been drawn and the battle begins. Oh my god! He's dodging the corrosive miles individually. He's splitting the SCVs. Clem with... He's adapted. There's still... You still have to be so careful about this. Reynor is so committed, but... Those Ravagers, until this siege tank, and even with the siege tank, and in fact, he's going to put the siege tank on the Logan, which is quite a commitment. Oh, big hit. And he loses a Ravager. So now Reynor has very important choices to make. Does he dive? Oh, he's building drones. Encircling speed. And he has just enough range here to potentially knock out that bunker. So Clem is trying to macro this out. Well. Another wave. Whips it out. The bunker. It's just not enough. You don't have enough Ravagers to get through it. As the siege tank count builds up, the saving grace, Clem doesn't have stim on the way. The creep spread is continuing, but Reynor doesn't even have... Like, he built enough drones to do a higher economy all in. But is that going to be enough? Like, and he's mining from his only other base, which, of course, is the forward one. He has not expanded to the natural. The Ravager count continues to grow. He's almost got enough to shotgun the bunker in a single volley. And that, the longer time goes on, I think time does favor Clem here, though he's not sure exactly to what extent. Reynor. He's still going. Another siege. That siege tank can hit from the high ground. Oh no! It's a disaster. He's actually gonna... I think the Ravagers may barely be in range, but he already preemptively moves back. And all he needs to do is hit one mineral patch. Reynor does not... He doesn't have vision of the tank, and he can't get close enough. He's locked out of the base. He's trying to expand... What a crazy... What a crazy situation. Are we sure this isn't Bly? Somebody check if it's Bly. Okay, that's way too much APM. As these are Bly builds right here. Well known for his ridiculous early game strategies, and an intense commitment to following them up. He's gonna send the drones back home. And Clem has almost double the workers. Time is running very thin for Reynor. But he's waiting for Clem to make a mistake, to step just a little bit too far onto the creep, which is at his doorstep. The double drop will force the issue. The double drop will, like, Reynor will have to go. There's no coming back. The medevacs will force him to go forward. And likely to die. But here we go. It's 2-2. It comes down to this moment. The Marines, oh, he's coming back. Oh my god, he hit a wave of corrosive bile. That's something. Some of the Ravagers going forward. The Zerglings on the ramp. He's gonna slurp up the Marines. Trade's good. Corrosive bile landed. But the supply is really telling the story now. The creep is getting cleaned up. He spots the Ravagers there, but he's gonna pick off one. He's gonna get two. Oh, a save from the Queens, but knocks out some more Overlords. Reynor desperate. And here we go. The Zerglings have swung back in the bunker. And there's still a bunker on the high ground. Another siege tank goes down. No more tanks. The wave of Ravagers getting the damage done. The army supply starting to thin out. The Queen's at the back. Maybe get some more creep tumors, but the Marines, they come back from the front to save the home. And we'll get picked up again. 16 SCVs dead. Reynor's down to 20 drones, so it's not like he's having a booming economy himself. But if he's able to knock out the orbital command, maybe his dreams will no longer be memes. 17 SCVs dead. The orbital command under fire. And those Ravagers demand so much respect. More corrosive biles. He just keeps dodging and sniping off Ravagers, and Marines are much more easily replaced. Hasn't killed any of the medevacs. Picks up, gets out. Siege tanks on the high ground, fighting more damage. Here come the Ravagers again. Sprays out some corrosive bile. Knocks out both the tanks. But does he have anything left to show for it? No. Clem claims yet another close victory over Reynor. 3-2. Reynor showing the strength of early game Zerg rushes. And Clem almost falling to them. But at the end of the day, Clem again proves why he's the world champion. Reynor is unable to make the cheese strong enough, as Clem is able to tolerate it. I don't know what the first game was exactly what I expected. And then everything else went sideways. Up and down and all around, but I'm not disappointed. Multiple proxy hatches, a back and forth, another close match, but Clem comes out ahead. And hopefully you enjoyed. Thank you to Bellum Gens Elite. I hope I'm not saying that too horribly wrong. And for putting on the tournament again. And if you happen to be a Bulgarian sponsor, make sure to check them out. It looks like an amazing event, especially considering it kind of comes out of nowhere. But at least for me, to be honest. Either way, thank you for watching. Make sure to, if you got the means of motivation, be awesome, check out Patreon or YouTube membership. But I hear liking and subscribing is still free, at least for now. So thank you for watching. Good luck. Have fun. Stay tuned.